So he posted a link to, it says 50 Cent reportedly developing a surviving T.I. and Tiny documentary.
50 Cent has officially unveiled a preview of a forthcoming documentary centered on T.I. and Tiny, and it is laden with profoundly serious allegations. After initially removing his Instagram post regarding the project, many observers assumed 50 Cent was simply engaging in provocation. Instead, he proceeded to release what may be the most consequential portion of the material. Reports now indicate that T.I. is deeply unsettled. Here is the full account.
On his page?
Well, it ain't on there now. Did he take it off?
Yeah, he deleted it.
He put it up and then took it down, and everybody grabbed it.
On March 5th, 2026, 50 Cent took to Instagram with a post that immediately seized the attention of the entertainment world, only to remove it before the close of day. The post referenced a headline regarding a documentary reportedly in development under the working title Surviving T.I. and Tiny. In the accompanying caption, 50 Cent recalled how notably silent his previous documentary subject had become in the lead-up to that project's release. He then addressed T.I. directly, referencing approximately 20 sexual assault cases and advising him to retain crisis public relations counsel without delay. Though the post was deleted, the internet had already captured and disseminated it. The content was gone, but the implications had already permeated the digital landscape. Every major hip-hop publication, gossip outlet, and commentary channel had picked up the story within hours.
So he basically, he shut the internet down today just showing that I ain't done with this yet.
The Jasmine Brand, Ice Cream Convos, the Hip Hop Democrat. Virtually every notable platform covered it. Gossip commentator Tasha K had reportedly been alleging as early as March 1st, 2026, that 50 Cent was quietly developing a project while the public feud was intensifying. The deleted post gave every outlet in the industry justification to run the story at full throttle. 50 Cent's caption drew a deliberate and unmistakable line to his previous documentary endeavors, positioning Surviving T.I. and Tiny as the next installment in that same strategic framework. The title itself was a pointed reference to Lifetime Surviving R. Kelly, the landmark 2019 docuseries that brought decades of R. Kelly's alleged sexual abuse into the public consciousness, presented extensive survivor testimony, and ultimately contributed to his criminal conviction. That title selection was calculated, not coincidental.
Hints at Surviving T.I. and Tiny, listen at this, documentary, and calls out the rapper over 20 sexual assault cases.
T.I. did not remain passive. He responded swiftly by posting a family photograph to his Instagram account, accompanied by a message addressed directly to 50 Cent.
Drop whatever you choose. Just please keep showing the world you're a whore. On Clay. Who's Clay? And you still ain't tell us why you in 4K dick pulling with the smile of a sissy. Pandora's box is ajar, which means open in Spanish. Good luck. You nigga. You suck. P.S. Me and mine till the end of time. It's a trauma bond.
On the same day, T.I. also released a video of himself alongside his son, King Harris, working in the studio on a new track titled Let Him Know, produced by Pharrell from his forthcoming album, Kill the King.
This video, and he says, we can go bar for bar, hit for hit, or doc for doc. Either way, all you're gonna do is show how much of a you is. Let's play. Nobody fears you over here, boo-boo. And he dropped another freestyle, or some song.
The postscript on one of his posts read, "Me and mine till the end of time is a trauma bond." T.I.'s entire demeanor throughout this confrontation has been one of unyielding defiance. Bars, captions, direct challenges, and a relentless stream of content releases. What 50 Cent effectively accomplished was handing T.I. a promotional opportunity squarely in the middle of his album rollout, and T.I. capitalized on it without hesitation. However, to fully comprehend why 50 Cent reached for the documentary format in the first place, one must trace the conflict back to its origins.
Mine till the end of time, it's a trauma bond.
This is not a 2026 development. The animosity between these two figures extends back nearly 2 decades, and what reignited it in early 2026 was a versus battle that 50 Cent never attended. The earliest documented friction between T.I. and 50 Cent traces to 2007 and 2008, when T.I. was arrested on federal firearms charges related to the attempted purchase of machine guns and silencers. He ultimately negotiated a plea agreement and served approximately 1 year, despite facing a potential sentence of up to a decade. 50 Cent scrutinized the disparity in those numbers and publicly voiced what many in street circles were privately speculating, that the arithmetic only balanced if T.I. had provided cooperation to federal authorities. On the 2008 G-Unit track "You So Tough," 50 Cent put it directly into his lyrics, casting aspersions on T.I.'s comparatively lenient sentence and framing it as circumstantial evidence of federal cooperation. That informant narrative, T.I. as a cooperator, never entirely dissipated. Throughout the 2010s, the two maintained a cautious distance punctuated by occasional provocations. In 2011, when T.I. and Tiny faced drug possession charges following his release, 50 Cent leveraged social media to ridicule the situation. However, neither man fully escalated the conflict. Both had substantial financial interests to protect, T.I. with his acting career, the Trap Music Museum, and reality television ventures. 50 Cent with the Power franchise, his broader business portfolio, and G-Unit film and television. Then the pandemic arrived, Verzuz launched, and the dynamic fundamentally shifted. When Timbaland and Swizz Beatz introduced Verzuz in 2020, T.I. recognized his opportunity. On July 6, 2020, 50 Cent's 45th birthday, T.I. posted a formal challenge on Instagram, demanding a 20-song catalog battle. 50 Cent dismissed it with amusement. T.I. continued pressing the issue in subsequent interviews. 50 Cent continued declining. The Verzuz never materialized. Then in early 2026, during his promotional campaign for Let Them Know, T.I. appeared on Nightcap with Shannon Sharpe and Chad Okosinko Johnson. He revisited the Verzuz topic, but this time introduced a detail that fundamentally altered the conversation. He stated that 50 Cent had privately agreed to participate. According to T.I., the two were together in Los Angeles pitching television projects when the subject arose. He maintained that 50 Cent was amenable to the plan. T.I. would issue the public challenge first. 50 Cent would respond, and together they would generate momentum. But the moment T.I. went public, 50 Cent went silent. And according to T.I., that maneuver cost 50 Cent whatever residual respect remained between them.
Nowhere. We were moving around in LA, man, selling some TV shows while we were around each other, man. You know what I mean? I said, what you think about this? Like, you want to do that shit? I said, yes. He was like, all right, cool. So I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna jump out there first, and then you just gonna jump out there and we'll line it up.
That specific detail, 50 Cent allegedly agreeing behind closed doors and then refusing to acknowledge it publicly, is what gave T.I.'s entire position its foundation of legitimacy. This was no longer simply a rapper being rebuffed on a Verzuz request. This was a man who purportedly said yes, then conducted himself as though the conversation had never occurred. 50 Cent's response was neither a formal statement nor a press engagement. He took to Instagram and posted an unflattering photograph of Tiny Harris, a clearly handpicked, unfavorable image, accompanied by a caption instructing T.I. to keep his name out of his mouth. Most observers interpreted it as a direct affront to the entire Harris household. Marketing professional Karen Civil, who operated within circles that included Lil Wayne and other prominent industry figures, offered an alternative interpretation on Threads. She contended that 50 Cent never actually disparaged Tiny, that he merely posted her photograph and told T.I. to disengage.
He said, all right. And when I jump out there, he act like he ain't know what going on. Then that's what it was about. You know what I'm saying? Now, it about, oh, you playing.
The Harris family did not share Civil's charitable reading. King Harris retrieved old, explicit images of 50 Cent that had circulated online for years and posted them publicly. Domani Harris released diss tracks targeting 50 Cent's alleged personal history directly. T.I. began dropping records in rapid succession. Law enforcement reportedly received calls regarding online threats during this period. What had been an internet feud had begun bleeding into the physical world. T.I. addressed the situation formally through TMZ, putting his position on the public record.
Posted a picture of Tiny and said, "Leave me out of it." Social media T.I. and his whole family took that post as a negative connotation, even though he never specifically said anything bad about Tiny. He just posted her photo and said, "Stop discussing."
What 50 Cent was signaling he would incorporate into the documentary, the 20 sexual assault cases referenced in that deleted caption, constitutes a narrative far more consequential than any versus dispute and considerably darker than a snub on a battle platform. When 50 Cent referenced 20 sexual assault cases in that deleted post, he was directing attention to a story that entered the public domain in January 2021 and subsequently escalated into one of the most damaging periods T.I. and Tiny have experienced in their careers. The sequence began on January 25th, 2021, when Atlanta entrepreneur Sabrina Peterson posted on Instagram alleging that T.I. had brandished a firearm at her in the presence of her children during a prior confrontation. Peterson subsequently removed the post, but not before it opened a floodgate in the comment section. Women began sharing their own accounts. Peterson aggregated those testimonies and published them to her Instagram stories, where they remained visible for 24 hours before auto-deleting. What emerged from those accounts was a disturbingly consistent pattern. Women alleged that T.I. and Tiny operated a systematic approach: invite women to parties or hotel suites, provide them with beverages that have been adulterated with substances such as MDMA or ecstasy, and then engage in sexual contact without consent. Attorney Tyrone A. Blackburn, who assumed legal representation for multiple accusers, characterized the accounts as eerily consistent. By January 28th and 29th, 2021, Peterson had made over 24 of these accounts publicly available. One early anonymous accuser described being drugged after meeting the couple at a nightclub, then regaining consciousness the following morning in physical pain with no memory of the preceding night. The template across the accounts remained remarkably uniform. The celebrity appeal, the VIP invitation, the compromised drink, the loss of consciousness, and the traumatic aftermath. The most extensively documented case on record involved a United States Air Force veteran and an evening in 2005 that allegedly took a deeply troubling turn.
The only thing I had to say is very unfortunate, but honestly, I wasn't here to defeat, I was here to defend.
According to the lawsuit she ultimately filed, the veteran encountered the couple through a party at another celebrity's residence. She received word that T.I. and Tiny would be present at a nightclub the following evening, attended, met them in the VIP section, and accepted a drink from Tiny. Following consumption of that beverage, she reported that her faculties began rapidly deteriorating.
And Tiny have been sued for sexual assault and battery on a woman in a Los Angeles hotel. So the situation, the woman claims that in 2005, she was enlisted in the U.S. Air Force at the time.
T.I. and Tiny did not remain silent. On January 29th, 2021, their spokesperson issued a statement characterizing the allegations as egregiously appalling and describing them as part of an assorted shakedown campaign. T.I. personally addressed the matter on Instagram.
T.I. and Tiny in the VIP section. So at this point, they're all hanging out in the VIP section. She says she ordered 2 amaretto sours on her own.
By February 19th, 2021, Attorney Blackburn had transmitted formal letters to prosecutors in both California and Georgia, demanding criminal investigations on behalf of 11 accusers. By March 1st, he convened a press conference and disclosed that he had been contacted by more than 30 potential victims or witnesses. 3 additional women came forward in March 2021 alone, one alleging she was drugged and assaulted in Miami in 2010, another presenting a similar account from Las Vegas, and a third claiming she was held against her while following a party. The Los Angeles Police Department confirmed the opening of an active investigation in May 2021, specifically concerning the 2005 Air Force veterans case. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police received a separate report regarding the 2010 incident. VH1 suspended their reality series in February 2021. The professional and personal consequences were immediate and arrived from every direction. However, what those investigations actually yielded, or more precisely, what they failed to yield, is what defines the true state of affairs. And it is precisely why 50 Cent's documentary Gambit retains its potency in the court of public opinion, even when it possesses virtually none in an actual courtroom.
To the bathroom to throw up, and she said she blacked out after that. She woke up the next morning.
Every criminal investigation into T.I. and Tiny's alleged conduct arrived at an identical conclusion. Not a guilty verdict, but not an exoneration either. Each was terminated because the statutory timeframes had already expired. In September 2021, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office declined to file charges in the 2005 Air Force veteran case. The charge evaluation worksheet was unambiguous. The statute of limitations, set at 10 years under California's pre-2007 provisions, had lapsed. The district attorney's office never reached a substantive evaluation of the evidence. The case was extinguished by a procedural technicality of timing, not by an assessment of the merits. T.I. and Tiny's attorney, Sean Hawley, issued a statement expressing satisfaction but not surprise at the outcome, characterizing the resolution as vindication. However, the district attorney's worksheet told a decidedly more procedural narrative. Time had simply expired before anyone could adjudicate the substance. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police conducted their own investigation into the 2010 incident and reached the same result: no charges. Potential inquiries in Georgia and Florida, initiated by Blackburn's letters to prosecutors, never progressed to formal indictments. No federal charges materialized in any jurisdiction. Commentators covering the feud were forthright about what that legal record actually signified. With the criminal avenue effectively foreclosed, the accusers turned to civil litigation. In January 2024, the same 2005 Air Force veteran filed a civil lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court, proceeding under California's Sexual Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act, a 2022 statute that established a revival window for civil claims where the standard limitations period had already expired, provided there was evidence of an institutional cover-up.
We ever have done has been done with consensual adults who into what we into and like what we like. If we want something, we know exactly where to go to get it.
T.I. and Tiny successfully removed the case to federal court in March 2024 and filed a motion to dismiss in June 2024. They argued that the claims were time-barred and that the complaint failed to allege sufficient facts to trigger the revival statute. Specifically, that no qualifying cover-up by a legally responsible entity had been adequately pleaded. On August 8, 2024, United States District Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett ruled in favor of T.I. and Tiny, dismissing the lawsuit in its entirety. The dismissal was entered without prejudice, meaning the plaintiff retained the right to file an amended complaint. As of March 2026, no amended pleading has been filed publicly. On a separate legal track, the defamation lawsuit T.I. and Tiny had filed against Sabrina Peterson, the individual whose January 2021 Instagram post initiated the entire chain of events, continued to proceed through the courts independently. Peterson responded with a countersuit alleging defamation, trade libel, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. In June 2023, a California appellate court dismissed 5 of Peterson's 7 causes of action. In October 2023, a judge ordered Peterson to pay T.I. and Tiny $71,096.73 in attorney's fees on the dismissed claims. The full defamation trial between T.I. and Peterson is currently scheduled for June 9, 2026. The aggregate legal landscape, therefore, stands as follows: no convictions, no criminal charges ever formally filed. The principal civil lawsuit dismissed in August 2024 with no public refiling on record, and a defamation trial calendared for summer 2026. 50 Cent's documentary Threat derives its force from the chasm between those legal outcomes and what the public actually retains and perceives. No conviction exists on the record, but neither does anything that definitively exonerated the Harises in the collective public consciousness. The allegations remain suspended in a liminal space, legally concluded but culturally unresolved. And that unresolved territory is precisely where documentary inflicts its greatest damage.
The situation with T.I. and Tiny No, like it says, no criminal charges was ever filed. They were investigated but never arrested for those allegations. No criminal charges was filed, largely due to the statute of limitations, issues and lack of prosecutable cases.
As of March 13th, 2026, there is no confirmed documentary. None whatsoever. No episodes have been completed. No network or distribution agreement has been announced. No casting calls have been issued. And no production schedule has been released by 50 Cent or any representative of G-Unit Film and Television. What exists is a single Instagram post that was published, immediately consumed by the internet, and removed, all before the day concluded. Anyone who has observed 50 Cent's operational methodology over the past 2 decades recognizes exactly what that maneuver represented. His established approach: maintain silence, allow the absence of information to build pressure, then introduce something that fundamentally reshapes public perception, is thoroughly documented. The deleted post executed that precise strategy: plant the headline, allow the internet to amplify it exponentially, retract it before it constitutes an official commitment, and observe the resulting disruption multiply autonomously. Beyond the question of the documentary's existence lies the question of whether it would achieve the impact 50 Cent requires. Public appetite for a T.I. and Tiny documentary does not reside at the same level it did for 50 Cent's previous documentary endeavor. The allegations against T.I. and Tiny were investigated, adjudicated through the legal system, and the broader public largely moved forward years ago.
Allows victims to do that. It gives adult survivors more time to file lawsuits in cases where, like, the statute of limitations would have expired.
50 Cent's substantive response to T.I.'s barrage of diss records never materialized through traditional musical channels. Instead, it arrived via the theme song for his Star series Power Origins, featuring Leon Thomas, released on March 6, 2026. The track incorporated indirect references, bars about individuals learning to leave him alone, and lines about those who sacrifice their dignity pursuing attention, but never mentioned T.I. by name. One particular bar, widely interpreted as directed at King Harris rather than T.I. himself, revealed the strategic lane 50 Cent had chosen to occupy. He was not engaging in a direct lyrical exchange with T.I. He was leveraging a television property to embed subliminal provocations while maintaining plausible deniability, allowing the documentary threat to perform the heavy lifting in the public arena. Industry analysts and cultural commentators identified the strategy clearly.
I think Netflix is gonna give him no deal on no T.I. documentary.
Last time you thought
I don't think so. The demand is not as high for a T.I. documentary.
50 Cent's
Meanwhile, T.I. maintained a prolific presence across all platforms. War, The Right One, Lessons, Made Man, Let Them Know, Trauma Bond, his purportedly final album, Kill the King, which T.I. has stated will be his last project, was being constructed in the very midst of this conflict. The feud was fueling the promotional campaign in ways no marketing expenditure could have replicated. T.I. did express one regret throughout the entire ordeal: watching his son King take the confrontation to the level of printing images of 50 Cent's late mother on a t-shirt. In multiple interviews, T.I. identified that as the line, the point beyond which the conflict had gone too far.
He drops a theme song for one of the shows and disses T.I. Let's hear it. Your daddy made your mama eat every box in Atlanta.
When TMZ approached T.I. and requested a comprehensive explanation of the situation, his response was concise, measured, and entirely consistent with every public statement he had made from the outset.
Expecting 50 to really compete, like, musically. I don't know, maybe I'm being biased because I'm like, bro, there's nothing that I would think 50 would respond to.
What this entire episode has demonstrated to the culture is how hip-hop feuds are conducted at the highest echelon in 2026. The threat of a documentary strikes harder than the documentary itself ever could. A post deleted at noon can inflict more damage than a finished production that requires 2 years to complete. The documentary that the entire industry has been discussing does not yet exist, and T.I. remains standing, releasing what he characterizes as his final album, presenting a unified family front publicly, and telling 50 Cent to release whatever he intends to release. Whether that documentary ever actually materializes is what will determine the next chapter of this saga. But as of this moment, the only thing 50 Cent has actually released is a post he removed before lunchtime. Thank you for watching. If you found this content valuable, continue exploring by selecting one of the suggested videos on your screen for additional in-depth coverage.